All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Race number 1. We'll see Harry Volsmere and Adam Barker on the front row. Giancarlo and Nick Sorensen on the second row. Yuho and Andrew Lau on the third. Dylan Steinbach, Mike Dolling on the fourth row. George Cole and Mike Marshall round out your top 10. Callie Evian and Brian Hewitt starting in 11th and 12th. Nicole, that's what she said, Creasel in 13th, the rookie Peter Lauman in 14th, and Ryan McDaniel starting in 15th. All the drivers getting lined up on the grid. Some drivers making that last minute adjustments in their setups and their fuel. Harry Volsmere starting out front. You'll definitely want to keep an eye on him. Can he check out early to pull off the win here this morning? Giancarlo in that Ford after sweeping 3 consecutive weeks, or 3 out of the last 4 weeks rather, being forced to drive the Ford here this morning, hoping it will not blow up. And of course, a rookie in the field today, Peter Lauman. How will he do on this tight track at Oulton? Pace car leading him through the final turn. That pace car will go to pit road. A lot of elevation changes here this morning to unsettle these cars and get some excitement. And green flag is in the air. Race number 1 from Oulton is underway. Out of turn 1, Giancarlo goes to second. Still a lot of side-by-side through the pack as some of these drivers trying to fight their way. Oh, we've got 2 off track already. Brian Hewitt and it looks like Callie Evian off track. Hewitt has had significant problems. Making a quick adjustment here, our apologies. Then we'll get a look at that replay. Harry Volsmere still in the lead. Let's see what happened with Hewitt and Evian. Oh, Evian. Wow. One just snaps loose. Collects the other one. Brian Hewitt does back it into the wall, but manages to slow it way down, minimal damage. But then problems getting back out on track. A rough start to the day for Brian Hewitt. Harry Volsmere continuing to lead. Giancarlo in second. Barker in third. Oh, Giancarlo has gone off track. He manages to save it. That got a little dicey, but Ford's gonna Ford. Ryan McDaniel on the move here early, up 3 spots into 12th, the rookie. Peter Lauman now up 3 spots into 11th. Meanwhile, Yuho battling now with Andrew Lau. They battle for 5th place. Lau just ahead, but into that right-hander. Nope, Lau's going to clear. Lau now into 5th, sets his sights on 4th place, Nick Sorensen. Adam Barker currently in 3rd, Giancarlo in 2nd, Harry Volsmere currently in the lead. Dylan Steinbach has gone to pit road unexpectedly. Looks like it might have been a repair. Dylan did not appear to have any issues. However, Brian Hewitt did have another issue a moment ago. Hewitt coming downhill into that right-hand chicane just off in the grass. Mike Dolling in the BMW has set the fastest lap so far this morning. Back in 7th place, trying to run down Yuho, 1.3 seconds ahead. Giancarlo sitting in 2nd, still has Adam Barker right on the bumper in 3rd. Meanwhile, the rookie Peter Laumann in the Ferrari already up into 10th, up 4 spots. He is putting on quite a race this morning. Adam Barker last time by set the fastest lap, but has been unable to get past the Ford. Meanwhile, Harry out front opens up a 1.5 second lead. George Cole has moved up into 8th. Mike Marshall in 9th, closing in. Mike hoping that Mercedes power will offset some of these sharper turns out here this morning. Yuho sits in 6th, has been unable to hang with Andrew Lau for the moment. Mike Dolling in 7th, now closing in. Harry's lead still hanging around 1.3 seconds. Giancarlo definitely having some problems keeping that car on track this morning. Mike Dolling was gaining ground on Yuho, has slipped back just a little bit. Mike Marshall has gotten past George Cole to take 8th. Nick Sorensen back in 4th, just about 2 seconds behind that battle for 2nd, but unable to close the gap at the moment. However, track temperature, as you see, 100 degrees. It has been getting hotter all morning long. And if that trend continues, it could be a very long second race. Peter Laumann back to 11th as Callie has gotten past, made it back into the top 10 after that early incident with Brian Hewitt. Brian Hewitt has been struggling here all morning, back in 15th. Nicole Kriesel in 14th. Dylan Steinbach currently in 12th has gotten past Ryan McDaniel, who is now back to 13th. Harry Volsmeer's lead, however, is disappearing. Giancarlo and Adam Barker have caught up. Nick Sorensen back in 4th place. About 2.5 seconds back. Could start reeling these guys in as they battle. Nicole Kriesel has had a problem. Nicole coming toward the start-finish line. Looks like she just pulled over and came to a stop. Giancarlo again off track in the Ford. Apparently that Ford is just having all sorts of problems staying on the track. Speaking of off track, Sorensen back behind trying to reel him in. Swings really wide there. Harry Volsmeer still holds the lead, but with 3 other drivers closing in. How much longer can he hold on to it? Yuo in the Lambo again, back in 6th, but has to watch out. Mike Doling in the BMW continues to close that gap, now just 2.3 seconds back. In fact, last time by, Mike Doling was faster than the leaders. Giancarlo continues to have problems in the keeping that Ford on the track. Adam Barker still lurking back there in 3rd. Sorensen in 4th. Andrew Lau in 5th. Yuho back in 6th. Mike Doling in 7th. Doling is really on the attack as he reels in Yuho. Doling less than a second behind. Yuho closing rapidly. Made up a bunch of ground there in the chicane. But as we've seen all morning long, Oulton Park is a very tricky track to pass on. It is not very wide and makes it difficult to find a good spot to pass. Adam Barker has now moved into 2nd. Giancarlo has slipped back to 3rd, and Sorensen is closing in. Mike Dolan continues to set some of the fastest laps out on track. Dylan Steinbach coming back off of pit road, another unexpected pit stop. Harry continues to lead with Adam Barker in second. Giancarlo in third now has to deal with Sorensen in fourth, closing the gap. Andrew Lau about 2.5 seconds behind in fifth place. Yuo still holds on to sixth and has managed to put a little bit more space between him and Dowling. Mike Marshall holds on to seventh, but George Cole is closing in on him. Andrew Lau currently runs in fifth as the points leader. However, it's not a big lead, and with Giancarlo sitting in third, today could be the day that points lead changes. With 4 races left to go in the season, it's all still up for grabs. Adam Barker now all over Harry's bumper. They go into the second chicane. Looked like Adam was going to try and make a move for the pass there. Oh! Harry gets a little squirrely out of the chicane. Moves to block Adam. Adam just trying to find a run he can get alongside. Giancarlo in the Ford is drifting further back. Sorensen and Lau now closing in. But with just over 4 minutes left to go. Oh! Barker goes a little bit wide. So far, though, Harry able to defend. Lau back in fifth, closing in on Sorensen, about 1.5 seconds back. Yuho back in sixth, has managed to pull a gap of 2.25 seconds now on Mike Dowling. Mike Marshall still holds on to eighth, but George Cole, wow, Cole goes wide there too. Cole all over the back bumper of the Mercedes. The Porsche appears to be getting through the turns and the chicanes faster than the Audi. Did hear the driver saying that Audi is still very, very tail happy. Nick Sorensen in fourth as Harry gets the white flag. Sorensen in fourth, still trying to close in on Giancarlo. Andrew Lau in fifth, also still lurking. Oh, Harry Harry Volschmier has gone off track, and it is Adam Barker to the lead. The leader's coming up to the back. Oh, just gets into the lap car of Ryan McDaniel. And what a heartbreak for Harry. Adam has the lead. Giancarlo in second. Sorensen right there in third. Lau in fourth. But Adam's lead now 3 seconds as he comes toward the final turn. And through the final turn, down and up the hill rather, Adam Barker pulls off the win for race 1 in Oulton. Giancarlo will come home in second, Sorensen in third. And let's talk to our top 3, starting with Nick Sorensen. Nick, a pretty quiet, uneventful run up to third.
Yeah, it was. I didn't see what happened there. I think that's probably an unfortunate circumstance. Let me get into third.
It was a bit of an unfortunate circumstance, but yeah, it definitely puts you in a position, but you've quietly been running top 5 the whole race.
Yeah, I didn't have anything for those 4 in front of me. I was doing everything I could just to keep up. So I'll gladly take the points there. You know, sometimes just finishing the race is half the battle. So, but yeah, I think Harry should probably see what happened. We'll have to look at the replay.
Oh man, congratulations. A great start to the morning. Good luck in race 2.
All right, thanks, Doug.
Nick Sorensen comes home in third, and sadly, Giancarlo comes home second in a Ford. Giancarlo, it's really impressive to finish as well as you did, considering the penalty you were dealing with.
Doug, I don't know what you're talking about. This is objectively the best car.
We're going to have a talk about your drug use. I mean, you're driving a Ford. It's a miracle it didn't explode.
Yeah, I mean, I hit a bump at one point, which was pretty terrifying. Right here on the fast left-hander, but it really is it's like a bull that you got to wrangle every corner with this car. It is the opposite of smooth, but it's entertaining to drive. That's something.
It was entertaining to watch. It was obvious you were struggling to keep it, especially on corner exits. You were struggling to keep it on the track.
Yeah, definitely just as is. And then someone reminded me that we don't have track limit penalties. So, yeah, I'll take any advantage I can get with this car, for sure.
Well, you definitely needed them. Truly impressive to finish second with that, man. Great job.
Thanks, Doug.
Adam Barker pulls off the win. Not only that, he ends Giancarlo's win streak. Adam, not only did you get the win, you just ended Giancarlo's win streak.
Wow, I didn't realize that. But yeah, it was a really good race. It's a bit unfortunate that Harry got clipped by a, well, not clipped. It ran into a blue flag, but it's a shame that happened. But it was a really good race. Really hard to get any passing done, so it was literally just waiting for mistakes. I didn't expect Giancarlo to make any mistakes, but he did. The Ford betrayed him.
Well, mistake number 1 was obviously driving a Ford this morning.
Exactly. And and then Harry was super quick. I think I had a little bit more raw pace than him, but getting past anywhere is impossible here. So you really have to send it like 100% conviction dive, and I just couldn't find anywhere to do that. So I was settling for second when Harry rear-ended the blue flag, and I'll take the W.
I do have to say, it was obvious you had the pace. At several times we saw you really sending it, trying to get the run into or out of the corner, but you could get the nose even with his bumper, but just couldn't get the move in.
Yeah, it's gonna be really hard to get through the field here. We're gonna be limited on laps this session as well. We're not gonna make the 50 minutes. So fuel's gonna be an interesting one. Maybe we can undercut some people. I just need some fresh air, really. So wherever I can get the fresh air.
Well, best of luck. How many laps is it looking like for the second race?
Oh, we should go 30 laps. We should hit the lap limit.
Oh, okay.
So we'll be a few laps short.
Well,
A few minutes short, sorry.
congrats on the win and good luck in the second race. You got a lot of traffic to come through.
Yeah, thank you. I think I'm going to need it for this one.
Good luck, buddy. Well, Adam Barker will start race 2 from 7th place after the top 7 invert. Will make things very, very interesting out here. This track's so tough to pass on. We saw the early incidents. Drivers trying to get past, and we saw Adam Barker multiple times trying to get around Harry, just couldn't complete the pass. It's going to be very tricky out here to see who can find a good place to set up and pass. And with the lap limit, things could get very, very interesting. All right, ladies and gentlemen, race number 2 will see Harry Volsmeer and Mike Dolling on the front row, Yuo and Andrew Lau on the second, Nick Sorensen and Jean Carlos on the third row, Adam Barker and Mike Marshall rounding out the fourth row. George Cole and, Callie Evian round out your top 10. The rookie Peter Lauman starting in 11th next to Brian Hewitt in 12th. Ryan McDaniel starting in 13th. Dylan Steinbach in 14th. And Nicole, that's what she said, Creasel rounds out the 15-car field here at Oulton. All the drivers lined up on the grid, ready to go. Harry Volsmeer started race 1 in the lead, and nobody was able to get around him. That unfortunate incident on the last lap sent him backwards. However, it does position him to start here on the front row again in race 2. Can he hold the field off? Plus, it is likely, or it is guaranteed they're going to hit the lap limit. It is likely we're going to see a few drivers try and make the fuel last. Pace car is in. Harry fires. Green flag is in the air. Yuo quickly to the inside on Mike Dolling. It gets close. Wow. Dawling goes a little off track. Andrew Lau back in fourth. Ryan McDaniel having some problems back behind. Nicole Kriesel gets by. And everybody quickly to single file this time. Lau is wide. Lau is off and just barely misses Mike Dawling. The view from the chopper, see how close that, whoa! Hope Mike Dawling wore the brown pants today. That was close. Nicole Kriesel has had a problem and gone to pit road. Nicole coming down toward the horseshoe. That left-hand king saw catch a lot of drivers out. She manages to hold on to it into the horseshoe. And whoa, she just overshoots it into that first chicane. Heavy damage likely to the Ferrari. On the move so far this morning, Harry Volsmere still has the lead. Uho now up into second. Sorensen up 2 spots into third. Giancarlo up 2 into fourth. Alan Barker up 2 into fifth. And Mike Marshall up 2 into sixth. Biggest mover so far, though. Dylan Steinbach up 4 spots into 10th. And Andrew Lau had another problem. He has gone to pit road. Looked like he may have gotten a slow, and the car just snaps around him. Looked like just hit the gas, tried to shift, and man. Harry Volsmere just set the fastest lap with Uho in second. Now 1.5 seconds back and losing ground to the leader. Sorensen currently in third. Giancarlo in fourth. And Adam Barker still holds fifth. Third, fourth, and fifth still nose to tail. Mike Marshall back in sixth. Has Mike Dawling in seventh closing in. Nicole Kriesel is back out on track. Ryan McDaniel had some issues early. He is now running up in 13th. Brian Hewitt just ahead in 12th. The rookie Peter Lauman currently sitting in 11th. Dylan Steinbach really making that Mercedes work this morning, up to 10th place. And Evian is on pit road. George Cole is on pit road. Are we seeing early pit stops? Fuel only. No, Evans up for tires. Cole missed his pit box. Interesting strategy here in the early going of race 2. Yuo was losing ground to the leader, has started finding a faster way around, and is starting to close in, now 1.25 seconds back. Brian Hewitt has had a problem and gone to pit road. Oh, holy cow! Adam Barker, Nick Sorensen get together. Let's take a look at both incidents. Brian Hewitt having a lot of problems here this morning. There's Hewitt, gets a little too much of the curbing off the track, and ouch, gets both walls, ends up in the wall. Sorensen looks a little twitchy, just goes around. Giancarlo and Adam Barker run out of places to go. Sorensen gets it off track and rolling again. Ryan McDaniel now up to 12th, is on pit road, looks like making a fuel stop. See if we can get a look at the drivers involved in that issue. And looks like significant damage to Giancarlo's Ford. Might actually improve the car. Adam Barker did look like he got woed up, but it does look like the front end of that has a little bit of damage. Yeah, it does have a little bit of damage to the splitter and the intake right above it. That did allow Harry Volsmere and Yuho to pull a big gap. They now have 10 seconds on Giancarlo, Adam Barker, and Mike Dolling. Brian Hewitt is on his way back out. And from 10th place on back, everybody has been to pit road. Knowing how close the fuel is, those drivers likely not going to... Oh no! Harry in the lead goes around. There's Harry coming up toward the lap car of Ryan McDaniel. Just goes a bit wide and spins it to the infield. Few moments before, Ryan McDaniel had had an issue right after coming off pit road. Looks like he just missed pit road entry. Yuo now has a 9.5 second lead over Giancarlo. Adam Barker sits in third, Mike Dolling in fourth, Dylan Steinbach in fifth. Does appear Harry is out of the race in a heartbreaking morning for Harry, dominating both races from the start, gets caught up behind a lamp car both times. Nick Sorensen currently in sixth. Mike Marshall back in seventh. The rookie Peter Lauman now up into eighth. Evian back in ninth. George Cole in 10th. Andrew Lau currently sitting in 11th. The points leader likely to lose that lead today. We have seen Giancarlo make some big comebacks in the past. Oh, wow, way off track again. We have seen Giancarlo make some big comebacks in the past, bigger than that 10-second gap on Yuo. However, he has never had to do it in a Ford. So it's unlikely that Giancarlo is going to pull off a win here today. Adam Barker, though, in third, is closing in on Giancarlo. Mike Dolling in fourth, Dylan Steinbach in fifth, and surprisingly, that Mercedes has been doing really, really well here this morning. Already up 9 spots into the top 5. Dylan has driven that 5 out of the 6 races this season, and he's kept it 5th in points. He is at a great run in that Mercedes. We talk about it all the time. Mercedes has all the power, but the handling is not the greatest. Yuho definitely doing a great job this morning in the Lambo. Harry Volsmir came into the morning 6th in points. This is going to be a huge shakeup, with Yuho leading if he pulls off the win, and Mike Dolling sitting 7th in points. Yuho could very well pop up to 6th from 8th to 6th in points this morning. Oh, Ryan McDaniel off track again. Ryan moving way over to let Yuho get by, and he causes himself to crash. Take a look at this as Ryan comes around. Off into the grass, you see Yuho hesitate just a little bit. Ryan goes a little wide out of turn 1. Starts moving over to let the leader by. Gets the grass, gets the curb, gets the wall. Yuo continues to extend his lead, now 10.8 seconds over Giancarlo, and Adam Barker is right there behind Giancarlo. After winning race 1 and having to start in 7th, he has made his way forward. Mike Dolling back and forth. There's a lot of lap traffic between him and Adam. Sorensen back in 5th is closing the gap on Dolling. Steinbach in 6th, up 8 spots. He was in the top 5, but Sorensen finally found a way past. Nicole Kriesel showing consistency, gets the job done. Currently in 13th and closing in on Brian Hewitt in 12th as she moves over to let the lead lap cars get by. Adam Barker in 3rd, right on the bumper of 2nd place, Giancarlo. Nick Sorensen, Dylan Steinbach still nose to tail. Mike Dolling making his way through lap traffic, trying to close that 7.5 second gap on Barker in 3rd. Mike Marshall back in 7th, losing ground to 6th place Steinbach. The rookie Peter Laumann has had a great morning this morning. Just consistent, staying out of trouble. Currently running in 8th. Looks like he's going to get top 10s in both races. Evian back in 9th. Had a rough start to race 1 with Brian Hewitt. Has managed to overcome that in race 1 and now a top 10 run in race 2. Andrew Lau has struggled all morning long. The points leader coming into the morning has had a great season, but today has definitely not been his day. George Cole still holding on to 11th place, not far behind Lau. And Brian Hewitt back in 12th is trying to reel in the cars ahead. Nicole Kriesel back in 13th is reeling in Brian Hewitt, but that gap is currently 13.3 seconds. Yuo's lead now 11.3 seconds. He continues to open up the gap. And don't forget, folks, shortly after this race, we will have Home Motorsports GT4 race this morning. We'll have the HTSAI Community Hunt this afternoon. And, of course, BRR Cup Series tonight. Some of the drivers mentioned testing out the Lambo here this week, but it was such a handful. But Yuo has really managed to wrangle that thing in and make it work today. Adam Barker sits in third, right on the bumper of Giancarlo in second. Adam has to be worried that at some point, right behind that Ford, it could just blow up. Oh, Giancarlo way off track. This might be Adam's shot. He's got to run. Adam Barker to second. Sorensen and Steinbach are on pit road. Giancarlo talked about after race 1 using the track limits to his advantage. Looks like he overused them that time. Sorensen and Steinbach both on their way back out. Looks like fuel only. Remember, there is a question mark with the lap limit. Will anybody be able to stretch the fuel? Euros lead 12.25 seconds over Adam Barker. Now that Adam has clean air and half the race to go, can he close the gap? Giancarlo already losing ground, and Mike Dolling on the attack. Mike Dolling currently sits in fourth, 8.5 seconds back from Giancarlo, but he is closing in at a very rapid pace. Last time by, in fact, Dolling was the fastest car on track other than Yuho. Mike Marshall and the rest of the top 5 have not been to pit road. 6th place Sorensen, 7th place Steinbach have been in. The rookie Peter Laumann in 8th has not been to pit road, and everybody else from 9th on back has been to pit road. Should be good to go on fuel. Now the question is, this top 5 that has not been in, can they make the fuel run, or can they get close enough to make it a very, very short splash and go stop? Adam Barker in 2nd place at the moment is not gaining any ground on the leader. Mike Dolling in 4th was gaining on the top 3 there for a bit, but has now stagnated at about 8.6 seconds. George Cole has had a problem. George headed down into the horseshoe. Oh, just gets a little too much of the curbing. It turns him around into that wall. Does get the car turned around, corrected, and back out on track, but how much damage did he get? See if we can get a good look at George's car. Does look like he has some front end damage, but fortunately minimal. Nicole Kriesel continues to keep her consistent and clean pace here this morning, has now moved up into 12th. Sets her sights on 11th place George Cole. And Andrew Lau in 10th. Yuho's lead holding about 12.25 seconds. Adam Barker in second, just unable to gain any ground on the leader. Giancarlo in third, losing ground on Adam Barker. Mike Dowling holds on to fourth. Sorensen in fifth still has Mike Marshall and Dylan Steinbach all within striking distance. The two Mercedes at the moment nose to tail. Mike Dowling in fourth has a bit of a gap, 34 seconds on Sorensen, Marshall, and Steinbach. Looks like Marshall went a little wide, gave the opening. Oh, and Mike Marshall is snapped off track. Steinbach now to 6. Let's see what happened. There's Marshall in the Conliff racing car. Looks like he just hit a bump. Completely wrong. It upset the car and sent it flying into the inside wall. Mike Marshall has towed to pit road. Oh, Nicole a little bit off track. Quickly gets it recovered with Marshall and Evian. Evian now on his way back out.
Hey, Doug.
Oh, holy cow. Hey, Mike.
Yeah, I killed the car.
It looked like you killed the car.
I don't know what I was thinking. I was driving the Ferrari all week, and I was like, let me do the AMG today.
This track would not be the track I would want to drive the Mercedes.
Yeah, I figured it out shortly in qualifying. But now I figure I'll just watch the race with you.
Well, it definitely has been an interesting morning. Harry has been the dominant car, only to get caught up in lap traffic twice as Yuho goes in for fuel. Is anybody out there, Mike, going to be able to stretch the fuel and make it without stopping?
No. No, they'll all have to pit. No one's going to take tires, though, because we're not timed today. We're on laps. So
Wow.
they can stretch the fuel, but it would cost you if you took anything more than like one tire in time. So
Adam Barker now in the lead, but we'll have to stop. Giancarlo sitting in second. Yuho back out in third. Dalling now on pit road, and fuel strategy could be a big factor here this morning. Looking at pit stop times, there's everything from 13.5 to 21.4 seconds on pit road.
oh yeah, they're the guys that stretch it out the longest will do the best with the pit stop time.
Giancarlo still has not been to pit road to repair the Ford. It's a miracle the Ford has not exploded or spontaneously combust yet.
I know.
Yeah, that's correct, Doug.
The front end has seen better days.
Ryan, you have had a rough morning.
It's been a very rough morning.
Yeah, you and Harry tangled a few times there.
Yeah, I felt bad about that. I was trying to get out of his way, and it was a little bit too late. It was just one of those things.
Yeah, when you have a miscommunication at those speeds, there's nothing you can do.
Has definitely been an interesting morning on track for sure. It looks like Adam Barker and Giancarlo will be the last two to hit pit road, but the 3.2 second gap between them at the moment could be a huge deciding factor here, unless Giancarlo gets that car repaired and can make up a lot of time on track.
Well, I know as an active strategy that Adam and Giancarlo are trying to get Yuho to talk more on the radio to distract him.
They really are trying pretty hard for that.
Yeah, they're trying pretty hard. See, this is all the stuff you miss.
And looks like Nicole has had her first problem of the race. Let's see what happened here. Nicole headed down. It looks like the rookie Peter Lauman also. Nicole just gets too much of the curbing through the turn, quickly recovers it. And Peter Lauman, the rookie, moments later, has a problem as well, coming through the horseshoe. Just overshoots the exit, grabs the grass, and the back end goes around.
It's super hot out there, too. So
yeah, it's like the sun. My tires were melted.
Track temperature is 100 degrees this morning. Hey, Sketch. And Adam Barker and Giancarlo have just completed their stops. Yuho reclaims the lead with a 6.5 second gap. Barker comes out in second, Giancarlo in third.
Ryan had a problem right in front of him there.
Yes, he did. Let's take a look at the replay. Now if we can get the right replay pulled up here. Here we go. Brian Hewitt coming down. Just snaps loose. We've seen so many cars with that hot track snapping loose right in front of other drivers. Same place, Ryan, you've found a few places.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's tough out there. It's
you missed
tough.
my one. You missed my one through the chicane. I actually was airborne and sideways and upside down. Then I hit the tire barrier.
So that must have been fun.
That was a blast. It wasn't as bad as the one a week or two ago, though.
Ryan, you do have some of the more entertaining crashes.
Well, I appreciate that. I try.
Granted, it's not helping your luck at all, but you do have some entertaining crashes.
You're right. It is not.
Adam back in second, now 7.5 seconds back after the pit stop. Giancarlo, fully repaired, is 2.3 seconds back and closing in. But with, 7.5 laps to go, will he have the time to get there?
I don't know. Adam's pretty on pace. I did some practices with him earlier in the week, and he was several seconds faster than me. Without really pushing either, and I was pushing in every corner.
Oh, the gap is now down to 1.9 seconds. Hey, thank you so much, Sketch. Adam now, last time by, Giancarlo a half second faster, almost exactly a half second faster than Adam Barker.
And he doesn't seem to be on the edge either. He's still smooth.
Well, he did say driving that car was like wrestling with a bear this morning, but or wrestling a bull, I think is what he said. It is a bit of a handful, but it is a Ford.
Yes, it is a Ford.
Meanwhile, Yuo continues to open up his lead. It was 10 seconds before the pit stop. It is now, he lost a little bit of ground on pit road, but he is still 7.8 seconds ahead of Barker. And will continue to pull away.
And I'm not on the track, so he ain't got to worry about me.
That is true. Yeah.
I have taken out the leader twice today, one in each race.
I'm aware of it.
And the funny thing is that Yuho's in the Lamborghini.
Yeah, and they mentioned
him.
The drivers were talking at pre-race. That car is not easy to get around here. It wants to constantly spin out and kill you.
I love the way it looks and the way it sounds, but it's a nightmare for me to drive. I can tell you that. But
when it first came out, it was great to drive.
Yeah, and then they tweaked it.
Yeah, once they tweaked it, it was horrible. It was fun, especially on drafting tracks and robles. It had so much power, and you could just pull up on anybody. But not no more.
And I'm a sucker for rear window louvers, so
right.
I just love the looks of that.
And it does sound so good, like
angry, just angry,
downshifting, popping.
Speaking of sounding angry, the Mercedes of Dylan Steinbach now up 8 spots into 6th. He is 13 seconds behind Sorensen. And Sorensen has gotten to the back bumper of Mike Dowling once again, but it is one thing to catch the Minister of Defense. It's a whole nother thing to get past him.
Yeah, I'm going to call it now.
So much power.
Nick is not getting past him.
I've
been behind Dowling, and you can't get past him.
It was funny in he might get the chance here.
Unless he does that.
Yep. It was funny. Mike said in practice this morning, if he gets the pole, and there we go.
Oh, there it is.
Takes 4th. Mike said if he got the pole, there was no way he was losing that race. Hey, good morning, Cody. Have a great day, Sketch. Now Sorensen to 4th, a ways back from Giancarlo in 3rd. Giancarlo less than 1.5 seconds now behind Adam and continues to close in. But again, he can get there. There's not that many places to pass here.
No, it's extremely hard. Even if you're considerably faster, there's not many places to pass. You have to wait for a mistake like what Mike Dowling just had.
Yeah, we saw that in race 1 with Adam Barker. Just kept setting up on Harry. He'd get a run. He'd get maybe a little bit to the inside, but then Harry could just power back out of it, and it wasn't a big deal. Every time we've seen a setup for one of the faster guys, they just can't complete the pass.
Yeah. Yeah, this track is very difficult.
I do remember the last time you guys were here, some of the drivers saying this was not a track for GT3 cars. It's not wide enough, and it makes it so much more challenging.
Yeah, this is a radical track or something smaller.
It is a great track for skippies, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Cody, it has been a great race all morning long.
That depends on your outlook.
Unless your name is Ryan McDaniel or Harry Volsberg.
Or Mike Marshall.
Mike, you did have the most impressive finish to the race. And it was kind of entertaining that as we watched the replay on your crash, after you hit the wall, there was a little iRacing glitch where your bumper kept coming off. It would reappear and come off. We'll definitely have that reel out tomorrow for you guys to watch. It was great stuff.
I'm pretty sure that was a car exploding.
No, you're in a Mercedes, not a Ford.
Yeah. Well, the Fords only explode when you hit them in the back.
No, that's true.
All right, boys. You have a wonderful day.
See
I'm
you,
going to hop
Ryan.
off there.
See you, Ryan. He's not making any ground, is he, Doug?
No, he's holding about 1.4, 1.5 seconds behind.
And I notice every lap he's going wider onto the grass than Adam is, which means he's really pushing it.
He did mention that he was really overutilizing track limits here this morning due to the lack of a track limit penalty, and late in the run, it does seem like as the tires go away, he's having to wrestle that car a lot more.
Oh, absolutely. I'm seeing a lot of dirt getting kicked up.
George Cole is back on pit road. His second pit stop this morning. It does look, I did not see him have any issues. However, Nicole Creasel is back on pit road. She has had a problem and had to tow to pit road.
Oh, no.
Mike Dalling is losing ground now to Nick Sorensen. Sorensen is extremely fast. In fact, last time by, Sorensen was the fastest car on track.
Wow. He's really pushing it because the temperatures went way up.
Track temperature currently 100 degrees versus, I think in practice it was like 96, 97. It has steadily gone up all morning.
Yeah, and that Porsche won't understeer as much as the other cars. I was getting a lot of understeer even with the front engine. The Porsche just seems to eat up the curbs and stay smooth through these turns at speed.
Yeah, it does seem like the Mercedes and the Ferraris do not like the curbs here. The BMW just takes anything, but it's not the fastest car out there.
Exactly.
And the Porsche, just surprisingly, because you expect to see that Porsche touch a curb and go flying, it does a really good job of getting right on the curbing and not going around on you.
Yeah, I think a lot of that is the turns are not off camera, they're either flat or on camber, which is allowing the Porsches to make these turns so well. I know off camber turns the Porsche has a lot of difficulties with.
Yeah, some of these, like you discovered, some of these turns too, if you're in the wrong spot, there is a bump depending on where you're at. We have seen in countless places around the track all morning long, you hit a bump and you're gone.
Yeah, your tires on the track side, the close side, if you're not within maybe 8 inches of your marks, you're going to find some new pieces of the track you didn't know existed.
We've definitely seen it through that left-hand kink there before the horseshoe. A lot of folks finding just the smallest little bumps, but they're off in the grass or off in the sand. Fortunately, there's that big sand pit right before the tire wall at the horseshoe, which has saved people. But we did see Andrew Lau have a very very close call in race 1 and just barely slid between Mike Dolling and somebody else.
I was behind that, and I could not believe he didn't touch anyone.
Yeah, I think I made the comment, Dolling probably better be hoping he was wearing the brown pants. It does not get any closer than how close they were.
It was very quiet. Let's just say that.
Sorensen in 4th, still consistent. Well, last time by, he did lose a little bit of ground. He was faster than Yuho. Barker has close to a 5-second gap on Yuho, though.
Yeah, I think Yuho's just cruising right now. I think he's holding his tires in reserve and will defend if they get close enough.
Definitely, but white flag flies as Yuho comes across the start-finish line. That now 5.25 second gap should be enough that he can cruise it. Barker went way wide, as did Giancarlo. Last ditch, last lap effort.
Yep.
Nick Sorensen back and forth. Mike Dolling comes across in 5th. And this will be a morning that severely upsets the point standings.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Lau having problems. Giancarlo's win streak being broken.
Well, anytime you have Yuho, the mad professor, in a race, you can't count him out. Now that he's back to racing full time, he's going to be right up in the mix. I can guarantee that.
With Harry having problems in 6th in points and Yuho winning the 2nd race, it's going to be a huge, huge shakeup. Dylan Steinbach currently running 6th. There's going to be a huge shakeup in the top 10 tonight.
Oh, yeah. It's a good thing I'm not there, so I don't need to worry about it.
And out of the final turn, Yuho comes home with a 4-second advantage. He will win race 2 at Oulton Park.
What a drive for him. He is so smooth, so good.
Adam Barker comes home 2nd, and by some miracle, Giancarlo finishes 3rd.
All right, Doug. I'm going to skip out of here and let you do your interviews here.
All right, great to have you, Mike.
All right, talk to you soon.
Thanks. And let's see if we can talk to our top 3, starting with Giancarlo. Hey, Giancarlo, you came home 3rd. Your win streak is broken, but you still managed to pull off a podium.
Yeah, I'll take it. To be honest, my goal was just don't spin, and we achieved that goal. So I'm happy to get a couple podiums.
I have to say, after the damage you got early in the race, we kind of expected that car to explode at any point in time.
Oh, I was right there with you. I was debating if I needed to come in to get the quick repair or not, but I'm glad that she made it.
Well, despite having that massive hindrance, 2 podium finishes this morning, your win streak ends, but looks like you'll likely pull up to the points lead.
Yeah, well, we still got a lot of races left, so as always, who knows where the rest of the season will take us.
Well, hopefully next week we do not see you in a Ford.
We'll see, Doug. We'll see. I'll do it just for you. Thanks, Doug.
Giancarlo came home in 3rd. Adam Barker finishing in 2nd. Another podium finish. A great run this morning.
Yeah, really good race. Yuho was just too far out in front, and it was quite lucky for us. I think I'm not quite sure what happened, but Harry was well ahead of everyone, so he was running away with it before he disconnected, and Yuho was so consistent. There was no way we could catch up to him. He made a little bit of a mistake with his pit stop, but so did I. I underfueled the car a little bit, so I was fuel saving for the entirety of the last stint. So it just meant I couldn't push on. And then again, it's so hard to overtake here. We had a couple of runs with Giancarlo, but there was nowhere for me to go. Just took him pushing a little bit wide for me to get underneath him, but it's a really good race. It's a great track. It's just really hard to drive these GT3 cars clean through here. So,
it definitely is. It was a tricky morning, but man, a great morning for you. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And finally, Yuho goes back to victory lane. Yuho, you are back in victory lane, not surprising anybody.
Oh, well, I did surprise myself, to be honest.
I don't see why. You had a ton of speed out there. I have to wonder if Harry had not had the problems, if you could have got around him.
Probably not. He was pulling steadily away on the both races, so he got really unlucky with the lapped cars. So, what? Such is racing. It's a tight track.
It definitely is. But once, after your pit stop, you lost quite a bit of ground. Were you fuel saving after that?
No. Actually, on the pits, I make a couple of mistakes, and I also didn't have a full tank when we started, so I ended up fueling a bit more. And then the last laps, because I had the cap to Adam and they weren't catching that much, I was just easing it off because the rear tire started to be really hot.
Well, you still managed to come home with a very big lead. Congratulations, Yuho, and great job today.
Thanks. It was a good race.
Yuho back in victory lane. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will be back here in about 45 minutes with the Home Motorsports GT4 League. We will see you guys then. Have a great afternoon.